Hello and welcome to NPA News, the weekly podcast where I wax lyrical about the goings-on in the National Pokemon Association every single week. I'll be bringing you news, gossip, interviews and analysis from Nugget Bridge's favourite team tournament. I'd like to apologise for the delay in the return of NPA News, but rest assured it'll be coming to you on a regular basis from now on. It will be coming in both this podcast and alongside it will be the online magazine produced by Unreality and Crow. Before we go any further, I hate to sound a little bit like Evan, but follow us on Twitter. NPA News will keep you as up to date as you can possibly be with the latest from teams, managers, players, and we'll be generally stirring the pot a little bit on there as well. We should probably kick it off with the big news, which is of course the confirmation of the return of the National Pokemon Association. Although a delay did cause a little bit of unrest amongst some players, it was finally announced that it would be returning for a third season. It brought with it some changes. Instead of just listing them off to you, I was lucky enough to catch up with the co-commissioner, Dozz. Please bear in mind when you spell commissioner in Dozz's case, he likes the S's replaced with $signs, so if we could just keep that in mind for future. I caught up with him earlier this week, and I thought I'd just chuck you right in with my first interview this season, where I managed to speak to him a little bit about the changes, what he was looking forward to this season, and what we could expect to see from this sort of NPA season. Dozz, thanks for joining me today. First of all, let's talk about the auction format, something we've not used before. Shed a little bit of light on that for us.
So for the past couple of years, as you guys might have known, we've actually been using a snake draft auction, or not an auction, but a snake draft type thing where there's a pick, first pick goes to a team, it goes all the way down to till everybody makes a selection, and then from there the round order reverses, and then the last team that picked in that round goes to go first in the next round. In my opinion, that's pretty luck-based because pretty much it all comes down to who gets the first pick. I mean, I feel like that person will always have that advantage because, they get first pick as to which player they want, and sometimes, the player gap between, like, let's say, Aaron in comparison to other players after that, it doesn't really reward the unknown players, that just come out of nowhere and amaze everybody. And with the auction draft, managers, they're going to have to be a bit more strategic about who they pick. They're going to have to do a lot more research. And for me, I wanted to keep the manager position a lot more engaged with the loss of what we called home court advantage or the wild card. It was a strategy thing that I introduced to try to get the managers to be more active in their team.
People had to play to their team's strengths.
Now, since we don't have that anymore, I mean, the auction is probably going to be able to replace a lot of that strategy-based managing skills that people need. So the auction draft is actually something that I'm really looking forward to. Managers are going to have to start doing a lot more research on the players that sign up. They can start taking their gambles on the more unknown players and, pick them up for really cheap. And it's really just about managing your resources. I mean, you don't want to go in there and blow all your money on, like, Aaron Zhang and then be stuck with 5 other players at the minimum. Right, so I think it's going to be interesting to see how the managers actually adjust to the auction draft system.
It sounds like it'll really sort of liven up who comes through and who gets to play. Who do you think is going to be the most expensive player in the auction draft?
Probably Aaron. I mean, Aaron's really well known. A lot of players will go after him, even though no knock on Aaron. He hasn't had the greatest year, and last year, in NPA,
last year he went 4-4. And he was the third pick.
Right.
So
4-4 for. I mean, the Jets' first pick, and the Jets here were supposed to be some dream team that the Jets crafted.
The Jets team was strong.
I think Aaron will still go for a pretty good amount of money. And other players to watch for, Randy, I mean, he's always a solid player. Evan Falco, he's probably going to go for a good amount of money considering he just won the national championships too.
That'll put your value up a little bit. What about European players? Any over there that you think are going to command a big fee?
Oh yeah, I mean, Europe this year, they've grown so much as a community, and I actually think that they're a lot stronger than people sometimes take them to be. Yoshi, he stands out. DeFlo, he stands out. Kiriaku, he's always a good pick, always being consistent. And a lot of the European players that actually do sign up, Matty and his brother last year, they went and they actually did really well for the Chargers. So
yeah,
Europeans are definitely going to be something to watch. And of course, the Islanders, the eventual champions, they had Khatum and Baz Anderson. So Europeans are definitely going to be some players to watch in this. And I'm actually really excited to see what Europe can bring to the NPA.
So apart from just the teams that are going to be crafted this year, what else are you looking forward to in the NPA? Are you looking forward to the fact we've got more teams? You know, you've seen all three unfold, and you've obviously only overseen it for us. But what do you really think is going to be the exciting thing this year, particularly with the changes that we've made?
I'm really excited to see, a lot of. I mean, the news coverage is supposed to be better this year than ever.
Can't confirm or deny that yet, but
Well, I have faith in you. I have faith in you. Um, I'm really interested to see. We've expanded to 16 teams, and that's double what we were originally. Um, we've actually expanded our field of battles in each match to 6, and ties have been introduced, much like your British football leagues over
yeah,
there.
just like
And
the Premier League, we can now tie.
right. I don't know. I mean, NPA's grown so much in the past couple of years, and I remember the first year I just thought it'd be pretty small. I didn't expect so many people to want to play or anything like that at all. And of course, the activity died because of the fact that we switched metagames in between NPA and I couldn't run it fast enough. And also I couldn't keep the hype going because, it was just me
It
working
was
on
tough.
everything. But now, I
You were
have
a lone
Biosci, I have
commissioner.
you, I have Unreality helping me out. So, I mean, I'm really thankful for you guys to help me. And, last year it doubled in size in the amount of players that signed up. I believe there was like 222 players that signed up. So I'm actually expecting a lot more this year. And I mean, with more teams, there's always going to be those players that are left out, but I think it's just motivation for players to go out there and get their name to be well known.
Are you expecting some teams to, almost hoard players and just spend all of their money just racking up on those free agents? Because last year they were limited to 6, and this year they can spread out and take as many as they want, really.
That's actually a really good move on co-commissioner Bioside's part to allow a pretty much a free number of players that they can use because back then when we limited it to what was it 6 or
It's
7
always been
players on the
6,
roster,
yeah.
six players on the roster, like what if someone was out that week? What if 2 players were out that week? Then that would just be really unfortunate for the team. Whereas now they're gonna have to just budget themselves to have as many players as they want on their team. So just in case like situations like that happen. So yeah, I'm actually really excited. A lot more players will actually get to be involved, and even if they don't get to play, they're going to be in a team where the managers and the other players will actually be able to probably help them grow as a player as well. So going to be interesting to see how that like really plays out for other players that don't get to play, but they're still picked to be on the team.
Well, sounds like we have a good season ahead of us. Thanks for joining us today on NPA News, and we'll catch up with you a little bit later in the season and
Yeah,
see what your thoughts are about it playing out. Maybe, hopefully, we'll speak to you around the time of the draft as well. So there you have it, the Commissioner's thoughts on this year's NPA. I'd like to run back over the changes we discussed. We talked a lot early on about the auction draft, which I'm really hoping will spice up the league this year. We spoke about how it's now 6 games a week with the possibility of a tie. I'm hoping, personally, that this forces teams to go for the big wins rather than play through squeaky bum time later in the week with a 3-2 win. Moving on to something we didn't talk about as much, the league has actually expanded this year. I wasn't going to bring you this news, but due to the delay in this podcast coming out, I can actually now announce the 16 teams and managers that will be taking part this year, in case you missed the news post on the front page, you just want a little refresher about it. All bar one of last year's teams returned, one of them underwent a change of manager, and 5 new teams are in fact created for this year's NPA. Let's start off with the returning managers. NPA 1 winner and NPA 2 winning manager, the American Dream 38, will be returning to manage the Seafoam Islanders, who will be looking to have another strong draft, especially under the new format. Hui also announced a return to the Castelia Cones. He's looking to avoid a disastrous start from last year when he left the team under the guidance of big businessman Darnell Washington, a mistake he rectified to lead an almost charge to the playoffs. Talking Lion promptly returned to the Fuchsia Ninjas. He's looking to prove that a youthful manager can usurp experience once again, taking the Ninjas back to the playoffs and maybe further this year. Fan favourite Ray answered the prayers of a number of his fans when he laid to rest rumours he would be looking to move into the player pool. He confirmed a return to the helm of the half-home Holy Spirits. Tan's ruthless advertising is back, along with the Celestic Stars, who are looking to pick up some stars of his own in this year's draft. Short user Feathers confirmed she'd be back to lead the Fal Arbor Flames charge up the league, shedding the tag of joke team and hopefully not getting beaten to the punch when looking to draft fellow Canadian Scarm as an early pick. Zach flew in to announce the return of the Fortree Bravebirds. The keen statistician will be looking to find some hidden gems in the data for a strong draft. Dr. Fidget confirmed he'd be rolling the dice for another season, but will probably be looking to double down on players a little more reliable than the aforementioned Scarm. Pretty Little Liar, the player formerly known as On Fuego, or even Ominous Oppressor if you're a Season 1 fan, will be back for the Chargers. The sometimes controversial manager can't be knocked too hard for taking his team to second place last year. The final manager to confirm his return was Makiri. He was late to the party, but he did confirm his return to the Mistralton Jets. His team of superstars underwhelmed a number of fans last year, and the experienced manager will be looking to put the record straight. Moving on, we had a few changes. Smith announced he wasn't interested in returning to the rollouts and was looking to strengthen other areas of his game, so he put them out to pasture. The opportunity had a few sniffs, and eventually the role was given to Benji the Great, a friend of Smith's, who was looking to unlock their real potential. Unreality did not return to the Rockets after their disastrous season. The 1-7 record they held forced him to blast off from management, but rumours suggest he's looking to bring them back in a further season. We also had some new managers join the pool this year. CT Makoto Mikasa, or as he's known to other people, Sapphire Birch, is joining the ranks of management. The internet's favourite cute girl with a wealth of experience in team tournaments has formed the Levere Pixies. Gio enters the fray with the Lily Cove Cruisers. Well known as a breeder, he's looking to shake that reputation and show he's not to be fooled with as a manager either. Former world champion Dim Sun joins Ray as world champions managing in the NPA. He's decided he gets his fix from the real tournaments and the actual circuit, so after a solid season where he's qualified for Worlds again, he's looking to bring his winning mentality to the Evergrande elite. We also had a couple of managers from NPA 1 who decided to return this year. Dubulus, the former Golden State War Turtles manager, wasn't able to revive the franchise, so he creates the Viridian Forest Hornets, and as somebody who played for him, I can assure you, he knows how to motivate his team. Finally, Hustler Alaka sticks with the Magikarp theme as he brings us the Olivine City Splashes. He knows how to negotiate a deal and will be looking to bring out this skill in the auction draft. Those are your managers for the new season, and a lot of them are holding tryouts, so don't forget to go check out their channels on IRC, get in touch with them, see what you can do if you want to be a player. If there's any team you really want to play for, get in touch, see what you can do, and see if they want to pick you up in the draft. Unfortunately, that's all I've got time for this week. I hope you're all looking forward to another great season of NPA, only on Nugget Bridge. This week has been a short one, but I can assure you that further episodes will be packed full of content, especially after the dust settles from Worlds. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, keep an eye out for the magazine episode, and hopefully we'll see you for the draft coming up after the World Championships.